Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Sports Podcast. As always, I'm Alek, Koberna. That's Matt Morrison over there. Mike Wolfgang might be joining us later here on the show. But, Matt, we got some big news going on in sports today. The MLB is going on lockdown here, basically. They got a lockout coming. Huge news in sports. This basically came out this morning, so for those of you that don't know, this baseball lockout, we'll explain it here for you. I got it down on my phone, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So the CBA expired last night. So they came out this morning. Owners decided to pull a lockout because they don't like what the MLBPA, the Players Association, is trying to have done to baseball. So basically, this is what the players want. They want younger players to get paid sooner. So at the current structuring of contracts, when a player gets drafted by an MLB team, they can't negotiate for a new contract or become a free agent until they've hit year 6 of their initial contract. Then they can become a free agent and renegotiate there. So the MLBPA wants them to be able to make money sooner. They want a more competitive league with less tanking, a higher luxury tax threshold, so that way teams can go out and spend more in these rookie deals with these younger players and athletes, and give more people more money and not have to worry about getting taxed as much with the luxury tax. The league wants the salaries to remain the same. They don't want to spend more money. They already think they're spending enough. They even want harsher luxury tax penalties, so the teams that are going over that luxury tax are getting penalized for it. They also want an expanded playoffs. So basically, the only thing we have left is players can't sign with the team or negotiate contracts until this entire situation gets worked out and a new CBA is agreed upon between the two parties. So that's probably going to take at least a month and a half, if I had to guess. This has gone on for longer. This is the first time we've had a shutdown since '94. That time was activated by the players. They shut down. Replacement players came in for a week. That got knocked out pretty quickly. League did not like that at all. And then they go into a situation where spring break got delayed. They played a shortened 150-game season. So this year now is becoming a lot more of a question mark. How is this whole situation going to work out? Matt, what were your initial thoughts when you woke up this morning, saw the MLB was then a lockout?
I kind of knew that it was going to happen. My dad and I were talking about last night. I'm like, the MLB is well, first of all, we were talking about all the huge trades and all this stuff that has happened. He's like, you know why that's going on? I'm like, oh, why? He's like, oh, because the MLB is going to go in a lockout. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that's why all these accusations happen. All these big names went somewhere. They try to get that's why we saw those deals happen within 24 hours of each other, trying to get as much as they can done because they knew this lockout was going to happen. I read about that it could happen last night. And then, this morning I woke up to, I'm like, oh, they're in a lockout. And I'm like, okay, it's the first time. It's going to happen sooner or later. Yes, first time since the mid-90s, 94. So,
but I believe going back talking about this, I think this was almost happening the last 2 years because they were coming up on this CBA agreement that had to get redone. And this has been rumored to be about to happen for probably the last 2 years. There's been a lot of tension between owners and players and the Players Association. Matt, if you go back on our YouTube channel, I believe last summer, not this past one, the one before, we have a show or an episode called The Death of Baseball. We were going into this kind of stuff of this is what's going to tear down what we know as the modern baseball league. And this is exactly what we're now seeing happening. The separation between the players and the league. There's a lot of problems, a lot of other opportunities these players can go take advantage of. MLB, while they are still the biggest organization in the baseball industry, there are other options for these players, especially younger ones. One of the big things the players want is a higher rookie salary. Right now, the lowest salaries are in the $500,000 range. They want that raised, and I think one of the biggest things you have to look at as a consequence of what might happen with this is we're already seeing minor league baseball teams getting shut down. They're getting the boot. It happened here in the Mahoning Valley. The Scrappers got believe they were one of the teams that was initially a part of the MLB's farm system. They now move into the draft league instead. There's a lot of consequences that could come out of raising salaries of players in baseball. In the majors, this could be the death of minor league baseball as we know it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to hurt baseball a lot because, if this goes on into the season, people are going to find different things to watch. And,
Right.
they're going to like those things. They may like those things better. And then people will just stop watching baseball altogether. And, I think the lockout does need to happen. I do think that certain things need to happen. But let me go back on that. I don't think the lockout should happen. I think they should be able to do these things without having a lockout. I don't like that it came to this. Why don't you just do what they want? They're the players that are out here getting the people to watch the game.
Right.
Give them what they want. Give them the younger players more money and give them an expanded playoff. In my view, that expanded playoff we saw, during the whole COVID season, that got more viewers. You got teams like the Marlins in there who haven't been in the playoffs, and people are watching that. And even last year, this past playoff, it wasn't expanded too much, but it was still excited to see that, because of last year. Like, hey, anything can happen. I know they went back to regular, but they should definitely consider the expanded playoff once more.
Right, and that's something the league wants, not necessarily what the players want. But to your point, I think there is a healthy medium in between what these players want. So when you're getting the big problem here with the luxury tax, the players wanted to go higher, the owners wanted to go lower. You have to find a healthy medium in between, and it probably ends up being that has to stay the same. And I think that's probably the big part nobody really wants, is that probably has to stay the same, considering both sides want opposite things. But to expand the playoffs, it means teams would get more money. With more money, they can then bring in more money to put towards younger people's salaries. So I think there's a healthy medium, getting a renegotiation. We're going to see how this continues to unfold here in the next few months. But Matt, let's get into what we got going on tonight, or pardon me, I got going on tonight. High school basketball for me. I should have a fantastic one on set here tonight, 7 p.m. Liberty versus Springfield girls basketball. This one should be an epic game. Both teams undefeated already early in the season. Liberty 2-0, Springfield 1-0. Springfield dominated Crestview. I called that game to open out their season. They were all over the place. They got some fantastic athletes. I've yet to see Liberty, but you look at their points right now. First game against Western Reserve, 64 points. Second one against Struthers, 73. This is a very high-scoring girls basketball unit. And, even when you look at boys' scores, they are never up there in the 60s, 70s consistently. So I'm expecting a lot of points to come out of Liberty tonight, and Springfield's going to have to hope to keep up with them in this contest here tonight. But that's what I got there. Fortunately, we don't have a ton of time to stay in in high school, because we got the NFL going on tonight. Thursday night football, 5-6 New Orleans Saints, 7-4 Dallas Cowboys. Tonight, 8 p.m. Dallas, a 4.5-point favorite. Mike's not here to talk about his team just yet. If he gets on, maybe later in the show, we can get him in there. But Matt, this Cowboys squad, I think the one benefit is they're going up against Taysom Hill on the other side of it, and he's a very inconsistent player. I don't really think he's going to bring anything to this offense tonight. I think the Saints kind of lay an egg, and I got the the Cowboys. Dolphins. I got the Cowboys going big in this one tonight. I'm honestly thinking 28-3 potentially. I don't see this Saints offense really doing much. I got the Cowboys by a landslide.
So this is kind of difficult. We've seen Taysom Hill perform good, but not really as a starter. When was the last time he started? He came in for Breeze, or he was hurt or something like that, and he didn't do too bad. I forget the whole stat line or everything like that. But this is the guy that comes in and makes splashes. Okay, when he comes in, he's gonna make some explosive plays. But that usually hasn't came at that starting quarterback position. He came in as a trick play or something like that. And we've seen this before. Perfect example, Cordell Stewart. They used to call a guy Slash with Pittsburgh. He used to come in, line up, receiver, running back. They do something crazy with him. Then after, they actually wanted him to start as a quarterback, he fell apart. It wasn't good. I think maybe the fact that he was so used to doing all these other crazy things, and he got away from that simple system quarterback job, that you're supposed to have as a quarterback. And I think you might see the same thing with Taysom Hill here. He might be out of sync. He'd be like, oh, I'm coming in. I'm going to do something crazy. No, I'm going to throw a 3-yard pass to whoever.
Right. And
so you gotta think about that. So I'm here with you. I got to go Cowboys too, just because of the sole purpose of that. We may see something crazy. You never know you never know what is up Sean Payton's sleeve. He loves Taysom Hill. He's dead set on Taysom Hill. So,
clearly they see something that we don't when he's on the field or when he's done a practice. And clearly, he's an NFL head coach. We're two guys sitting in our bedrooms talking about it. So, there is that point of it. But at the same time, we've seen what he's done out there on the field. He doesn't really do anything on the field, and that's where we're going at here. On the season, the guy's thrown the football 5 times, and in those 5 times, he has 50 yards. So I guess you can say, 10 yards per throw here. So I guess you can look at that, but I just think you have to look at this guy. He's not a quarterback, right? He's a multi-use player, and I don't see this as being a big good move for New Orleans, but they also don't have anything else in the reserve. I don't really think there's a quarterback out there that they want to go get for 2 weeks while they're still waiting on Jameis Winston. So they're turning to what they have. It wasn't working out with Trevor Siemian. That's understandable. So now you have to go to Taysom Hill. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think they fall to 5-7. Mike's not here. I don't think we have to take 2 guesses on what his pick would be. He's taking the Cowboys. That's pretty much a guarantee. Matt, are you going to roll with the Cowboys? You going Saints?
Yeah, I just said earlier, I'm going to go Cowboys here.
Okay. Had to at least pose the question one more time officially. Well, NBA, this one a little bit harder to make a pick on. New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls tonight, 7:30. Chicago, 2-point favorite. New York at home. This game, I think New York, they've been struggling here. They're on a bit of a slide. They haven't played exactly to expectations after that hot start. 4-6 in the last 10 now. And you got the Bulls 6-4 in that last 10. They're finding some rhythm. I don't know if they're as consistent either. They have been so up and down. They'll play fantastic for 3 games in a row, but then they lose by 5 to the Rockets. They get blown out by the Pacers on the road. They lose to the Heat. They get a big win against the Magic by nearly 40 points. Now they beat the Hornets last night by nearly 20. So this team seems so up and down. I just want to know if the consistency is going to shine through tonight for the New York Knicks.
We're going to have to see here. Knicks, a solid team here. Like you just said, the Bulls kind of falling out. What'd you say, 4-6?
Yeah.
So after that hot start. So, we're just going to, have to wait and see. And, Chicago has pressure in their division. I think you know who I'm talking about. Not only is Milwaukee back there, they're not the team. I'm not feeling that they're the team they were last year,
But right now they're 4th in the Eastern Conference and have the same record as both the Bulls and the Wizards, who are 2nd and 3rd. So and they're also 8-2 in their last 10 with an 8-game win streak.
So they're definitely clicking, but
how about Matt? Give me a pause right there. Why don't we bring in somebody to talk about his Dallas Cowboys real quick? Hey, Mike,
he's back.
A good time.
We imagine you're taking your Dallas Cowboys tonight, but give us a quick analysis on your boys, and then we'll get back to the NBA.
Is that where you guys were at about this game?
Yep, we just went past it. Both Matt and I picked the Cowboys in it. Taysom Hill probably not enough at quarterback.
That's what I was going to say. I know the Cowboys have some guys out. They're getting some guys back too, though. I think Lawrence is coming back tonight. I think CeeDee Lamb is. I don't know about Cooper yet. But regardless, they should beat them anyways. Taysom Hill's not a real quarterback. We all know this. We talked about it before. But the Cowboys have to watch out for the Saints defense, because I think it's very underrated their defense the way it is, because they have some good guys that, especially up front, that they can get after Dak if the offensive line's not ready. But despite all that, Cowboys need to win this. They should. They better. So I'm going Cowboys.
All right, cool. Well, back here to the Knicks versus Bulls. Mike, I know you didn't catch too much of that there as I was waiting to put you in. What are your thoughts on this game here?
Knicks Bulls. I think it's a good one. I think the Knicks are having some issues right now. With the Kemba situation, Julius Randle, he was having some back and forth conversations with the refs. I think Tom Thibodeau was too. So they have some issues going on. Bulls, they really don't. They're playing good basketball, and they really have all year, and they haven't really let up. But did you guys make picks yet on this, or?
We're
No,
getting
we
there.
have not. And
Okay.
keep in mind, guys, Kemba Walker out of the lineup, basically.
Yeah.
He's been benched. So keep that in mind. I'll go ahead and make my pick right here. I say the Knicks got no chance. I got the Bulls all the way.
Yeah,
I'm
gotta
going
go
Bulls too. Like I said, I think they have too many issues right now.
I'm gonna go Bulls
Wonderful.
too.
All right. Well, how about you guys
You
take
know
it
who's
here?
coming.
NHL, Tampa Bay Lightning, St. Louis Blues tonight, 7 p.m. Tampa Bay 1.5-point favorite.
Matt?
Yeah, Tampa Bay. I mean, they've been cruising all year pretty much. This looking the way they've always, looked. They're competitive, they're fast, they're strong. So, I mean, not too much change on this team. They're still winning. You'll probably get some hiccups here and there, but I don't think it'll happen soon. But you never really know what to expect from a team that has all this talent. Sometimes those top players like to clash heads, and sometimes they lose some games. I mean, it's a long season, so I mean, Mike, what do you got?
So they just played each other on the 30th. That was Tuesday, yeah. So, or wait, was that? Yeah, so they just played each other. I think, the Blues won that one. They've beaten some other good teams too. They beat the Blue
Blues are
Jackets.
tough too.
Yeah, they beat the Golden Knights, so they have some good wins. But I mean, Lightning are defending champs, but I'm actually gonna go Blues in this one. I'm gonna pick a road team here.
Yeah, they're on. I mean, Blues are 12-7, Lightning's 12-5, not too far apart. So
it's pretty evenly matched, but I'm gonna go with the road team.
I'm gonna stick home team. Go Lightning.
You're going Tampa Bay here. All right, my thought is everybody knows how I break down hockey, right? It's, who's hot, who's scoring.
Who's not?
To me, the Lightning, they're 67 and 60 goals for, goals against. I'm a stat guy. I love to look at that stat. That point differential is just 7. The Blues, they have a point differential that nearly doubles that. They've scored 75 goals this season, just allowed 62. So to me, their defenses are on par, and I think you saw that last time. It went to a shootout. It was a fantastic game. The defenses were locked in the whole time. But when it came down to scoring at the very end, you saw the Blues take advantage of it. They were able to score when it mattered most. I think they do it again. I got the Blues taking this one tonight. And Matt, you said you're taking Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Nice.
All right. Well, Matt, when you've gone against me this week in hockey, you've been wrong. So got to keep that in mind.
I'm wrong all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get
Mike,
out
you were
with
wrong
that.
again about the Ducks Las Vegas
I'm
last
always
night.
wrong. I saw the score last night. I was like, what am I doing?
There's a lot of tight teams here, though. I mean, first, in the Metropolitan Division, first, second, and third. I mean, there's 2 teams tied for second. The Penguins are right there too, but they have a little road to get to catch up for the Rangers and Hurricanes. Those are 2 teams tied for second with 31 points, and the Penguins have 25. And they had that horrible game last night. So, and Edmonton is cruising.
That game was anticipated too, though, Matt.
Oh yeah,
Young Sparr McDavid and the
was.
older guy and Crosby. It was a good one. I watched first half, but it was too late to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good hockey on last night.
Edmonton. Let me check real quick. It looks like they're the best team in hockey. No, they're the third best team in hockey right now. So Maple Leafs are the best.
Keep it in mind. All right,
Capitals
boys, let's
second.
go into the big stuff for this weekend. College football championship weekend, conference glory on the line. Before we get into talking any individual games, I want to know, which game are you guys most excited to see this weekend?
Oh, you know it. Pitt, Wake Forest.
ACC, that's a good one there. What about you, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to the Big 12 one. Oklahoma State and Baylor. I like that one.
That would be
I'm
good.
interested to see how those 2 teams match up against one another, because, we've all been talking, last 3 years, these teams feel like they're built the same, they're defensive monsters, and now they both found something on offense. That'll be a good one as well.
But I'm sure I'm going to steal this one from you, Alek, but I like that Cincinnati-Houston game.
I also like the
Matt, you made your pick.
Yeah, I know, but the Sun Belt Conference, that would be cool too.
You gotta leave one for me, guys. Come on.
Well,
I didn't want to steal it.
I like them all.
App State and the Raging Cajuns, that would be a good game too. So
All right, what Alek pick now?
all right, go ahead and pick.
Freaking took mine. I'll take the Pac-12 rematch, Utah versus the Ducks. I want to see if the Ducks can rebound. To me, if they take that game back, I think it evens out the loss as long as they can dominate in their own way in this one. So let's get into our first college football championship game this week, Friday, 7 p.m. The Roadrunners, they lost their perfect season to North Texas. Now they have a chance to at least take home the Conference USA championship with a win against 8-4 Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky, despite the record difference, 3-point favorite in this championship matchup. Guys, what are your thoughts here?
Matt, what do you got there?
Nothing.
Not to change the subject, but
he's got a Jason Kipnis signed baseball bat.
I do. I like holding it. So.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
All right, boys, thoughts on Hilltoppers versus the Roadrunners? First off,
I think
fantastic names.
I know
Yeah,
the
exactly. I was just
Hilltoppers
gonna
and the
say that.
Roadrunners. I was just about to say it too. I don't know. UTSA has been going off this whole season. One loss, okay, it happens. But they've been cruising enough to, get me on the right track to say, hey, there's no reason to pick against them. I think they have a pretty good running back too. I think he could be a good contribution to an NFL team. He could be a sleeper pick in the draft. And not a lot of people will look at him because he's from a small school like that. And, not a lot of people even knew this school. People looked at it like, who'd they beat Illinois earlier? Like, Illinois lost to them. Now people are looking at, wow, they beat Illinois. Like, it's a Big Ten school and a small school like that to beat a Big Ten school. That really got my attention. So I'm going to go I think the Roadrunners will take this one.
All right, Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean toward UTSA as well. I know they just lost. Western Kentucky, I'm not discrediting them. They're 8-4 and they've had a good season. I've seen some of their scores. They played well. But I think UTSA, they've had the great season. They're coming off the loss, so they're probably going to come out in this one, want to make a statement early, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Well, boys, keep in mind, flashback October 9th. This ball game, the Roadrunners came in 6-0. The Hilltoppers came in 1-4 1-3 into this matchup. UTSA was 5-0. They came out a 6-point game decided in the fourth quarter. Roadrunners won 52-46 to hand the Hilltoppers a 1-4 start to the season. Since then, 7 straight wins for this Western Kentucky team. They have been on a roll in this, last half of the season. They have stepped it up, and man, this team is on fire. And I think you just have to look at that. This is a revenge game right now for Western Kentucky. They're favored in the spread. The bettors have their backs in this one. They feel that this team has turned on the knob, and they're ready to go. You look at this team now the last 4 weeks. 53-21 against Marshall, 52-17 against Florida Atlantic, 42-21 against Rice, 48-21 against Middle Tennessee, and 45-13 against Charlotte. And that's just the last 5 games. They have gone 40-plus points in every game but one since that loss to this UTSA team. They have found the energy and the enthusiasm, and they know how to win a football game at this point. They did it early in the season. They had their problems. They figured things out. And right now, UTSA, they came off a loss. They just got reality checked. And right now, the reality is come crashing down. Grab the dang bell. I'm taking the Hilltoppers here. First game, first bell. There you go for it right there. I got Western Kentucky taking down UTSA.
There you go.
There's the pick. Take it. Well,
Mike,
how about this one?
Alex
Pac-12.
Huh?
Alex got his bell. I got the lucky bat. Now, what do you got?
I'll come up with something. Don't worry.
Okay.
You got a lucky bat. You pulled it out for nothing. You
Heck
just literally
yeah.
grabbed it.
It's not baseball
know.
season either, kid.
So, I like holding it, okay?
Well, Matt, we know you like to swing for the fences, and you often miss. So, Utah Utes
Oh,
in the Pac-12
no comment there. I'm not saying
championship versus
that
the
is
Oregon
horrible.
Ducks. Versus the Oregon
Take a
Ducks, a
swing at
rematch.
you.
Utah, a 2.5-point favorite. They came into this one last week in a much heavier favorite than they do this week. So, guys, what do you think the change is now that people are seeing Oregon might be a little bit closer than they were the week before? Because this was about a 7-point favorite towards Utah when they were playing at home in that last week of the season.
Honestly, they should be better prepared. They got waxed in that last one, so they should at least know what they're getting coming in. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but they should have at least a better idea and game plan better.
Yeah, maybe.
Utah, you should. It's conference championship time. And Alek, we talked about yesterday, Alek. I mean, it's not looking like they're going to be a playoff team, but they can always get themselves up there and at least be in the conversation. This is where this is the only game they have left.
Right now, a 10-2 team is not out of the race in any consideration. No. I mean, they need stuff to happen above them. But if any 10-2 team comes into conference championship weekend and takes home the win in conference, to me, there's still a door. However small it's opened, it's still got a chance out there. And I think that's the one part you have to look at. Buy yourself a chance, control your destiny, give yourself an opportunity, at least if something was to happen above them.
That's what I'm saying. So they should know this coming in. I'm sure they're aware of it. And like I said, the game plan better because you know what you're getting now. And obviously you need to know what you need to do better in this game. So,
I mean, Utah, this last game, they came out, they had a game plan. They stuck to that game plan and they dominated this game. I don't think Oregon had a game plan. I think they just kind of came out and kind of won this last game. And that's why Utah really took it to them. I think that this game will be a lot closer than what happened last time. But, I mean, it's very hard to pick. I mean, against a team that totally whacked this team last time.
It's hard to win twice in one season.
It's hard to win twice in one season now. It's very hard. But, I don't know. It's hard to pick here. It's very hard to pick.
Oregon, give me Oregon. Matt's taking too long.
I want Utah. Give me Utah.
Well,
with them
this
last
game,
time. I stick with them.
Last time, 38-7. Then Oregon had to go at home against their rival Oregon State, who finished 7-5 in the regular season. It was a 9-point win there, and they really played poor once again. It wasn't fantastic all around, but it wasn't bad. I mean, the ground game, they were dominant there, but we saw what happened when they went up against this D-line last time. They could not move the football. I don't think they stand a chance to do that again. And I know the fact Utah won this last time, and to me, that probably makes it that it shouldn't be an upset, but the rankings don't lie. Give me the Utes. 2 games, 2 rings. Sweet. I'm taking Utah once again.
Sweet.
I picked Oregon last time, so they better come through.
Yeah, Mike, you're really going to be screwing the poochie if you pick them twice.
I don't even know if I care anymore. I'm just picking. I don't even know if I care.
Just throw them out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about we go to this one? This is a game I'm hyped for, the MAC championship, and it's probably the worst championship game out of all of them, but I don't care. 8-4 Northern Illinois, 7-5 the Kent State Golden Flashes, and boys, get this: Saturday at noon, Kent State is favored to win the MAC championship.
3.5.
Who would have guessed? Kent State is a favorite to win anything, let alone a championship, coming off the first bowl win ever in school history. Oh, my goodness. Give it to the Golden Flashes. I'm giving away my pick for this. I am hyped on them. I've been hyped on them the last part of this season. They've been on a tear. They beat Miami of Ohio by 1 point in overtime.
They beat them,
and I almost picked against them. Kent State sucked on the road this season, though. 2-5, neutral site. But give me Kent State.
So what? They sucked on the road all year. It's a neutral site. They kind of are. They are on the road, but who cares? It's a conference championship.
Who cares?
And we're Alek. You got to bring this one up. We live in MAC country here. We got to bring this up.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, we're picking every conference championship this week. So.
Oh yeah. Come on, give me Kent too.
We're all rolling train, man. Let's go.
Mike, you taking Kent?
Absolutely. Get it done.
All righty. All right. Let's get down. Big 12 country, 11-1 Oklahoma State, the Cowboys. Baylor Bears 10-2. Oklahoma State favored at 2.5 in this one. All these games fairly close for conference championship weekend. And this is a game we were talking about just obviously a minute ago. Everyone's been anticipating this matchup for the championship. Last time, October 7th, 10-point game, 24-14. Oklahoma State took home the win, and Baylor Bears have lost once since that game. Obviously, Oklahoma State also lost once in that one. That game, terrible for Oklahoma State. 3 interceptions. They could not throw the ball to save their life against this Baylor defense, but they went off on the ground. Jalen Warren had 125 yards. Spencer Sanders had 76, and Dominic Richardson had 33. On the other side, you're dealing with Gary Bohannon, a guy who's really lit up this second half of the season. He struggled in this game as well. He was under 50% pass completion, didn't have a touchdown, didn't throw an interception, though, and had just 173 yards. These teams are defensive monsters. It's going to be a battle. What do you guys think?
Mike?
Big 12 battle, man. I mean, these probably are.
It's a big game.
I know Oklahoma's having a down year, but right now these are the best 2 teams in the Big 12, and they're going at each other in this one. And I can't ignore the way Oklahoma. I love the way they've been playing all year, especially the last few weeks. They're kind of old school. They use the ground game. They play old school defense to hit you in the mouth, and I don't know if Baylor's going to be able to deal with that. You want to know why I'm picking Oklahoma State? This game's where the Cowboys play, and they're in Oklahoma State Cowboys. So I'm going to Oklahoma State.
I knew it. Cowboys.
Yep.
How about them? How about their quarterback? I like this Sanders guy. This last game against Oklahoma, pretty good game for him. I mean, okay game, 2 interceptions, but he has over 2,000 yards on the season passing. And, he's the main guy to get it done. He got it done. The guy rushed for over 93 yards in that game. The guy can get it done with his feet. And you're doing that against an Oklahoma Sooners team who is pretty much their program is based off defensive teams, okay? You can go back in the 80s when they had Brian Bosworth, okay? So I think that they can, take a run on this Baylor team. Baylor, they've been tough past couple of years. They've bounced back and forth. Good job for them to getting back to this championship game. But I got to go with Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Taking the mullet. All right. Boys,
awesome.
I'm gonna have to roll in the same direction. While we've seen Sanders throw a lot of interceptions this season, we didn't see Baylor capitalize on them last time, and clearly that shows Oklahoma State's defense is superior when it comes to this game. And to me, that's what's going to matter. Your past matchups have to matter a little bit, and where I have you in the rankings has to matter, right? We all had this Oklahoma State team as a top 5 group. And Baylor, well, you guys had them in the top 10. I didn't. I don't have faith in them. I don't think they played fantastic. I think there's a lot better teams than them in the country, and Oklahoma State is one of them. I think once again they take home this win. I've got plus 10 to Oklahoma State. I think they win this one by double digits.
You just said that Spencer Sanders has thrown a lot of interceptions, but last time they played Baylor, they only scored 14 points, and he threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, Matt, we know that. We already went over that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just putting that out there as it's bad.
Let's get back out of the Power 5, out to the Mountain West, the San Diego State Aztecs, Utah State Aggies, Saturday, 3 p.m. San Diego, 5.5-point favorite in this one. I think that's a little under what it should be, actually. I think this is one of those games you kind of have to look at. The Aztecs are going to pull away quickly. I've seen Utah struggle a lot this season. They have not been as strong as their in-state rival, the Utah Utes, despite the fact that they've pretty much finished with the same record potentially here after championship weekend. I think it's a good week for part of Utah, bad week for the Utah State fans. I don't think the Aggies stand a chance. Give me the Aztecs by 10 at least.
I want to pick Utah State, but I need to get some wins here, so I'm going San Diego State. That's all I really got. I need to get on board.
I got to go San Diego State.
They're favored by 6. It doesn't always matter until you play, but that's not a huge margin.
That much of a spread in a championship game was really huge. So
yeah,
I think that's where that comes into play. So we'll stay here in Group of 5. The Sun Belt, we talked about this one before. The Raging Cajuns, fantastic season, 11-1. They've been severely underplaced in the college football playoff rankings. And then on the other side of this, you got App State, a team that, since they've joined the FBS, has been dominant here in the Independents and now in the Sun Belt. They continue to play well. This game Saturday at 3:30, 2.5-point favorite right now is the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. This is going to be one of those big matchups you see this week, where I don't really think what's going to happen until you come into it. But I think the one thing you have to look at, the Raging Cajuns on October 12th, 41-13 over the Mountaineers. They blew them out last time. It wasn't close. They dominated this matchup. They forced 2 interceptions on Chase Bryce, a fantastic quarterback who transferred out of Clemson, obviously. They have star players. We know that. But last time, they couldn't even run the football. They really struggled. They had just 76 rushing yards, just 135 passing yards. And you saw the Raging Cajuns total nearly 500 total yards in this one. And they did it on the ground. 5 touchdowns came on the ground this last time out. Appalachian State, to me, this time around, nothing's going to change. That was their last loss. They haven't lost since then, but I don't see them pulling it off against the Raging Cajuns, who dominated this last time just a couple weeks ago.
So I'm looking here at some of the lines. The spread, I think, is 3.
2.5.
Or 2. Yeah. It's literally 50-50. Like
right.
50% with App State and 50% Louisiana, so it's pretty close. But Alek, for some reason, I'm going to go with App State here. I think the Raging Cajuns are the better team, but something. I mean, these App State Mountaineers have had a 10-2 year. They're a good team. They've been good.
And
in
they
the
have
past.
a tendency to pull off these kind of games, right?
And they do. So I'm gonna roll with that here. I'm gonna keep that there. That's why I'm picking them.
Well, I think we know where Matt's gonna go with this team.
Well, who do you think I'm going to go with?
Appalachian State.
Oh, man.
And you're going to mention the upset against Michigan. I already know it.
No, I'm not going to mention it because you know why? You just mentioned it, so I don't have
There we go.
So, yeah, I'm going to pick Appalachian State here. They've had a good program over the years, and they finally came back, and they're in a championship game. Why not? Pick them. I think they'll pull this one off. Beautiful campus, by the way.
I got the Raging Cajuns, baby.
Believe me, I love the Raging Cajuns, too. I love their story, too. I'm just excited for this game as a whole. But they have to pick someone.
I don't know how you pick against this Cajuns team. I mean, they've lost once, and yeah, it was against Texas, but that was the beginning of the season. They got blown out.
I remember
Since
that
then,
game.
it's a different story for this Raging Cajun team. They played great defense, great offense, and to me, they don't stand a chance to lose this one. I got them. Well, let's move back into the Power 5, perhaps the most watched game this weekend. Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Georgia Dogs. Winner, it has 100% guaranteed spot in the college football playoff, no question. Loser provides question marks. If it's Georgia, good chance they still get in. If it's Alabama, the road gets thinner, but it's still possible. So this game, while it matters a lot, Georgia a 6.5-point favorite in this one. I think Alabama really needs this game, and knowing Nick Saban in big games, their team never struggles to put up a show. This has been the most exciting matchup out of the SEC the last, 5 years now? These two have butted heads time and time again.
And Alabama has dominated it.
Right, but I think the one thing for me going into this game, what has Alabama shown me this season? That they are that Alabama that can show up in a big game. Because you know what? I don't think they have. They've won it close at the end, but you see a terrible game against a 6-6 LSU, terrible game against a 6-6 Auburn. This is not the Alabama of old. And while it's the Nick Saban that we know and sometimes love, sometimes hate, he has struggled this season, and I think that's where it comes in. I mean, you've seen him not really pull away since those first 4 weeks, and he nearly lost those first 4 weeks to a Florida team that just fired their head coach. So this is not a good look for Alabama this year. I think they get the floor swept with them and in the second half of this. I think they hold it close going past the first quarter, but in that second quarter, you see this Dogs defense come to reign. But don't let up on the Alabama defense. They have a good one, and we know Georgia can't score very much. So I think it's close, but I think Georgia's defense is the reason they pulled away.
Yeah, me too. They have a hefty defense, okay? You can name multiple guys off the top of your head right now.
Can you?
So maybe. I like the one guy and the other guy. Why are you the one to call me out on this?
Because you go, you can name multiple guys, and they go, really? Can you now?
Yeah, I can name multiple guys.
Yeah, you just pulled up a roster while we were talking?
No.
All right, Matt, just give your analysis here.
But, this is they have a backup quarterback, Stetson Bennett, and, he's got it done, but he's not been the headline. It's been their defense, okay? And their defense makes their offense look good. It's kind of like the opposite of what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing, okay? Their offense is horrible, making their good defense not perform well. This defense is great. It's making their offense, who's, okay, do better because they have a really good defense. So I got to go Georgia here. I think it's just overwhelming. You're going to have these guys chasing Bryce Young every play. And they had a hard time, that offensive line, holding off the Auburn defense. And that Auburn defense came out of nowhere and performed great in that last game. Bryce Young, this happened to, prove why he's a Heisman candidate and get away and make some pretty good throws downfield.
Right, keep in mind, he's got nearly 4,000 yards on the season. Yeah. He's got, 38 touchdowns. I mean, he's having one heck of a year, and you can't discredit that, but
no,
there's just something you have that feeling going into this weekend, right?
It's kind of a passing of the torch a little bit,
Mike?
I feel.
I don't know about that. Maybe for this year, but we kind of said
this year a little bit. For this year, because Alabama has beaten Georgia the past 6-7 years in this game. Some of them have been blowouts. Some of them have came down right to the wire. So
yeah, but passing a torch means they're done for a couple years. I'm not going to be. Like we saw this a couple years ago with Alabama. They had a down year, but we immediately thought they were going to bounce back, and they did. But I'm with you though for this year. I think it's going to be Georgia in this game. I think it could be a close game. I could say maybe a touchdown, maybe 10 points, maybe 2 touchdown final score. But I just don't think I don't think Alabama has enough this year, and they're going to against one of the best defenses we've seen in a long time. And
they shouldn't even be in the playoff right now. I can argue.
Okay, well they are, and I'm not. I'm just saying the way they've been playing. Right now they are in the playoffs, so we got to accept that. But again, and if they lose this game, I'm with you, Matt. They absolutely should not be in. But just going off what the committee has said in the last few years, they should not be in. But we don't know. But yeah, as far as this game, I like Georgia. I think they're too much. I think Alabama really hasn't played a team like them this year, so I don't know how they're going to fare with that. But it's Nick Saban. I'm not ruling anything out, but I just like Georgia in this game.
Well, these two teams have met in the SEC championship actually just twice.
Twice?
Alabama's won both matchups. Alabama beat them in the College Football National Championship in 2018. And Georgia hasn't won this matchup since 2007. 26-23. They won it 3 years straight from, 3 matchups straight from 02, 03, and 07. But, I mean, you go back before that, they won in 1990, they won in 84, they won in 76. The all-time record between these two teams, not even close, 41-25 all-time to Bama's favor. They have dominated this matchup, and it really has never been in favor of the Birmingham Dogs. So, this is a matchup you go into, and you really just have to give it to this Alabama team. I mean, they are fantastic, and they don't lose in big games like this. They can get upset like they did against Florida. But, I made my pick with Georgia. I want to stick with that. I really do. But since 2008, Alabama's had their number.
Nick Saban
I'm tempted to pick them because, it's Nick Saban. It's still Alabama.
Had their number.
So, Matt, who are you taking here?
I got to go Georgia. I'm picking Georgia.
Mike?
I haven't seen it this
I'm
season.
being safe and going with Georgia, but
it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary.
Yeah, it should be a game, and I think the fact that we all picked Georgia across the board really makes you want to think you just have to go with the favorite in this one. But, we've seen Nick Saban in big games pulling out all the cards. I think the one thing, doesn't have Steve Sarkisian, who really was an offensive genius with this type of offense and the weapons that they have. We haven't seen him pull that off in Texas yet because he's managing a lot more than just an offense and drawing up fancy plays. But I think that is something you at least have to look at. You've seen them struggle just a little bit offensively this season with consistency with the new offensive coordinator. I want to see how that guy plays and that guy calls a game in a big one like this before we go out and can actually pick him to pull off a big win. So until then, it's going to be UGA across the board. And I have a feeling come this weekend, you're going to hear UGA across the board on College Game Day as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how about let's get down to this. The American Conference Power 6 football. The Bearcats 12-0, 11-1 Houston Cougars. Saturday, 4 p.m. 10.5 points is the spread given to Cincinnati. They are a heavy loaded favorite in this one. And why not? This is a top 5 team in the country. They nearly beat the Dogs last year in a bowl game. This is that team.
24-21.
Honestly, they should be heavy favorites. They're a top 4 team. They should be.
And they dominated the last top 25 team they faced in SMU. They dominated East Carolina. They were having their struggles there for a minute, and we thought they were going to slip up, but they didn't. And, they still have a double-digit win over Notre Dame, and I think you have to put that in there. Keep in mind, they also have a nearly 30-point win against Miami of Ohio, who was almost in the MAC championship game. So they nearly have a win over a, conference champion there. I think just the one things you can look at is against teams that have played teams good all season long. In Tulsa, that game was close, but they won it in the end. So to me, Cincinnati's done everything right. I'm not going to give any strangers to my pick. Everybody knows I'm not picking outside the state of Ohio. I certainly ain't picking them for a team out of Texas. That's for darn sure. Give me the Bearcats. Give me a plus 14 points in this game.
Wait. You've been hyping this team up, though.
I've been hyping Houston up all season.
Don't just push them aside. You can pick Cincinnati, but don't just push them aside.
Oh, no, I'm pushing them right out the door. I have Houston in my top 10 right now. They lost that first game of the season. They have been fantastic since then.
They lost to Texas
Tech. They blew out
yeah.
Tulsa by 35 points. They beat Tulane by 18. But similar opponents, right? similar opponents with East Carolina and SMU. One possession football games, and to me, that's gotta matter. Those are the two best teams on that schedule, and it was that close to me. I have been hyping Houston up, and I love that Cougars team. I love what they put together, but you know what? They just ain't enough to beat the Fighting Fickles.
I mean,
All right, I'm going to be quick here, Matt.
I'm
going to be quick. I'm going to go Cincinnati, but I don't like the 10.5 points. I think it's going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be under that. So I'm going to go Cincinnati, but I think it's going to be a close game. And would I be shocked if Houston won? No, I wouldn't be. Number one, it's college football, and Cincinnati. This is their last. They've been waiting to get to this point, so I don't think they're going to slip up, but it's possible they do.
Matt,
Cincinnati has been fighting their way to this position for the past couple of seasons. They're here. It's right in front of them, and they're going to play their hearts out. Okay, I feel like this is going to be the best game that they are going to play this whole season, and they're really going to show it. I say blowout too. I say Cincinnati's really going to come out here and say, "Hey, we deserve to be in this playoff.
Season, right?
We deserve to be in this playoff. This is our year. I'm sick of the NCAA trashing these group of 5 teams, and Cincinnati's going to come out here and say, "Hey, we're here." And we're going to beat you.
Matt, I can think of another time one team needed to make a statement and then 59-0 in their favor.
Yeah.
Give me the Bearcats. I like them. It's statement time right now for the group of 5. And I think Houston understands that as much as they want it, they know what Cincinnati's coming in with right here. It's one of the best defenses outside
Cincinnati
of Georgia.
has a chip on their shoulder, and that chip is dangerous right now. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw Luke Fickell show huge commitment to this team. There were 3 or 4 or 5 massive job openings available around college football.
You can quote me on it.
Time and time again.
He's not leaving. So all these rumors can just go right down the toilet.
It was the same thing with James Franklin, right? He wasn't leaving Penn State.
Unless they got rid of him.
Right.
He's staying. I've gotten mad over people saying, or people like Fickell and Franklin are leaving. There's I don't want to go into it. Never mind. But I'm sick of it, okay? I'm sick of it.
All right, you're allowed.
So I take it that means you're taking Cincinnati, right?
No. Oh, by the way, I'm picking Houston, okay?
Oh! Get out the bell!
No, I got Cincinnati.
All right. Well, let's see if we have to pull out the bell for this one. The Big Ten with some big defenses here. We got Iowa Hawkeyes versus that team up north, Saturday, 8 p.m. That team up north, 10.5-point favorite in this one. And honestly, I'm right there with them. That offense is explosive. You saw that against the Buckeyes this past weekend. To me, Haskins probably has another big game. I think Iowa's defense holds them in check a little bit better because I think Iowa has a better defense than the Buckeyes, but we've seen Iowa really start slipping up here since that loss and to Purdue. To me, there's something wrong with Iowa. They got in off the hair of their chins with the Wisconsin loss. So to me, this is a team that's, yes, they're good. They just lack consistency, and you need consistency when you go to championship games. That's why I got the team up north in this one. It's a quick pick for me. You know, we can sit here and talk about it, but I got the Wolverines.
I think it's pretty quick for me, too, because Iowa they have a better defense than Ohio State. They played more I don't know consistency, but they have a better defense than Ohio State, slightly better. And Michigan might not be able to do what they did against Ohio State in this game against Iowa, but Iowa can't score the football, and Michigan's shown that they can. So if they can get some breaks against their defense, that puts pressure on Iowa to try to score, which like I said, it's remained to be seen all year that they can score and keep up with some teams with big offenses. So I'm going to go Michigan.
I don't want to. It's going to make me sick.
Give me
then
your
don't do it.
reason
Nobody's
why
forcing you.
Give me an analysis here, man. We got time to kill, that's for sure. Go into it.
Iowa, they are led by, which my opinion, Kirk Ferentz should be up there for Big Ten Coach of the Year. Absolutely. But what he's done, he's inspirational. I don't know if you guys seen what he's done for the children's hospital that's right by their stadium, but it's inspirational. And what he has been through, if you guys want to check it out, and whoever's watching, go check out his story. It brings a lot of people to tears, and I watched it the other day, and it's like, wow, this guy is a leader. This guy can lead his team. Yes, they have a not consistent offense, but their defense, they shut down Penn State. I know we weren't so happy about that. They shut down Penn State. They've had some big wins. Yes, they've fallen up, but they're here. They're here for a reason. And that's not because they're bad. They're not here because they're not a bad team. If they're here, they're going to put their all in this game. And I'm picking Iowa. I can't pick Michigan. I think Harbaugh's got all this. Oh, we beat the Buckeyes. Oh, we're the best team around now. You know, it's just. I mean, Alek, you sent me that clip. What was it this morning of Ricky Bobby? You know, he's like, I pee greatness now and all that.
I wake up, piss greatness, and
yes.
Drink.
I'm the best ever.
Right.
I'm the best that ever is. And
right,
stuff.
and
Matt,
I think that is the one thing you come off this game against Ohio State, right? First time they've won it since 2011. Give them the credit for it. They played fantastic. But yeah, you almost feel that, right? It's getting up there in their heads, and at least we haven't heard from the team. We've heard from Harbaugh,
you know what?
And that's what concerns me the most. Team's been perfectly fine, and that team always is normal. When that team shows up quiet, that's when they play dangerous, and we've seen them play really quiet here this week. But Harbaugh, he has been talking his mouth off all week long, and that's what concerns me. When you see Harbaugh get cocky, that's when he coaches his worst, and you always see him make him slip ups.
That's what make teams say, "Oh, look at him! We're gonna just stack the house against them." And you know what they did in that Ohio State game? They put everything out on the field. They showed everybody what they all could do. Now Iowa knows what they can do.
Right, but I think to me, the one thing that separates this Michigan team from Michigan teams of the past is that defense, man. That defense is good.
Yeah.
And you saw what they did against Ohio State. They dominated the run game, and that's where you see so many teams in the Big Ten get their best play. And when Iowa can't run the football, they cannot rely on their quarterback to throw the football. Ohio State had to rely on Stroud, and even he struggled in that game. It's going to be a lot of sacks for Michigan. Hutchinson's going to get there. Adobo's going to get there. Ross is going to get there from the linebacker spot. They have a lot of talent in that front eight. And to me, that Michigan squad, that's the one thing that separates them. And that's why they won that game against Ohio State. Their defense forced Ohio State to change early. And it really changed what was going on in that entire game, because if Ohio State could have played the way they wanted to, that game would have been a lot closer. But Michigan forced them to change early and often. They weren't showing them the same formations. And to me, Iowa doesn't have the talent to be able to do that. They have the coaching that can outsmart Harbaugh any day, but I don't think they have the talent to compete on the field. And you've seen that in multiple big games for them this season. They just can't keep up.
And I agree with you, Matt. I think if Iowa comes in and just loads up front and tries to stop the run, then Michigan's gonna have to try to beat them with the passing game. But and they were able to do it at points during that Ohio State game.
You can get the kid McNamara because we've seen it before.
And they were able to get big yardage chunk plays through the passing game against Ohio State. And before Clifford goes out in the Penn State game, Penn State was throwing it more than they were running it. So you can pass against this defense. It's not unbeatable, but I just don't think that they have enough on offense to score because they can't really score.
And Alek, you talked about the Iowa run game. Goodson has to go off. He has to go off. He has to 4 or 5 touchdowns. This is his offense. It has to be revolved around him and they're going to come at him too. So he's going to be prepared. You expect to see, the guys you just mentioned, Hutchinson, right in front of you every time. You just have to go at him. Give him your all. You just have to go.
This game should look like old school Big Ten football trench style warfare. But you saw Michigan pulled everything out of their playbook last week to beat Ohio State, and you saw it really all come out on that one drive. That was their put away statement. I hope they have something left, because to me, they need to make the statement here. I'm not going to lie. You know what? I say this every time someone beats me. I want to see you there at the end. I want you to win it all, because that makes me feel better about that loss because then I can say, hey, we lost to a champion. That one loss back in 2014 of Virginia Tech killed me, because what did they finish? Not even bowl eligible that season. I think it was. They were 4-8 or something, 5-7. It was a terrible season. That hurt me, I think, in a different way. And now you're seeing it with Oregon. They might not make a chance. They might not win their championship despite a good season. So to me, if I lose to someone, they better end up being the champion, because that's the standard Ohio State sets, right? Ohio State is a champion until they get beaten. And to me, if you can be the best, you got to beat the best. Ohio State, they've been slumping, honestly. They've had some great runs in seasons past, but they haven't closed the door. Michigan closed the door on Ohio State this past weekend. And once again, Buckeyes come up short. Now it's time for Harbaugh to prove that contract. Prove all the haters wrong. He has sucked on the road against AP top 25 teams. if Harbaugh wants to be considered one of the best coaches in America and to deserve that contract that he's already taken money off of, it comes down to championship time. We have never seen him in a Big Ten championship game. He has to win. To me, this is Harbaugh's biggest moment of his career. I know he's been in Super Bowls and all of that, but now this is him. This is his team. He's put this together. This is in the NFL where you have owners on your back saying, I want this guy as my quarterback. You know, you don't have fan bases calling for, hey, you need to sign this guy. He's brought in a recruiting class. He's put this team together. Well, he's got his rear end handed to him by everybody in the country over the last 5 years. This is Harbaugh's biggest moment, and he needs to come up on the biggest stage. So I'm going to leave it with that. Let's go into the ACC. Wake Forest, Pitt Panthers, probably the closest matchup we have this weekend. Pitt -3 in this one. Boys, give me your thoughts.
You know my thoughts. Mike, go first.
This is the closest one. It's 15 versus 16 seeding-wise in the playoff rankings. So,
and I think this should be up higher than that, honestly.
Both teams. Pitt should be at least.
Pitt at least, yeah.
But this game's tough. I feel like both these teams are similar, not only because they're close to each other in the rankings, but they are pretty similar. Kenny Pickett's a better quarterback, but they both have good quarterback play. And
yes.
You know, Pitt can beat you through the air. We talked about Jordan Addison. He's
Sam
one of the best.
Hartman from Wake, though.
Yeah.
What's that?
Love Sam Hartman out of Wake.
Oh
right.
Yeah, Hartman's sweet. Okay, Pickett and Hartman are the two best quarterbacks in the ACC. Arguably, but that's why this is really hard for them to go. I mean, they're pretty much the same guy. They're mobile and they can go downfield. So yes, Hartman can go downfield better, I think, than Pickett can. But Pickett is good with the short passes. And, you know, when time comes, like, he can go downfield, but that's not his go-to. Hartman can sling it. So I think it's battle of defense a little bit. And, you know,
yeah, it is.
It is because
Pitt has a tough steel defense, you know, and I like the guys on that defense. The Addison on offense, though, is sweet. And I like the running back as well. And they have a pretty cool tight end as well. So they're gonna come up with something here, and you know, I mean, I don't think Wake Forest will be able to stop that defensively. I mean, they're tough. I like their coach Pat Narduzzi, Youngstown guy, pretty much, and all the Narduzzis are pretty much from Youngstown. You know, and he brings that grit to Pittsburgh, and he's been bringing it.
Well, Matt, make your pick officially here.
Pitt.
All right, Mike.
Just one quick thing. This game concerns me for Pitt because, Matt, you talk about their defense. It hasn't been good the last couple of weeks. They gave up 29 against Duke. They gave up 23 against Carolina, 38 against Virginia.
Those are games where Pickett has led the offense. I know he had the interception in one of those games, but he has bounced back enough to lead them to the win. What game was that? I forget. The overtime winner.
But the way I think it's going to play out, I think it's going to be a shootout because we've seen Wake Forest the last few games, especially that one against Carolina a few weeks ago. They gave up too many points. Right now, I don't think Pitt's defense is locked down. It could be good, but it's not locked down. So I think it's going to be a shootout. But
yeah,
I guess I'll go Pitt. I don't know. It's a toss-up.
Well, boys, the one thing here, Pitt wins with defense, right? That's how they've always done it. That's how they're always going to do it. So does Wake. In Wake, they're running that RPO-style offense. We've seen that do great things against some really tough defenses. You guys both go on Pitt. I've been on Wake Forest's hype train all season long. I've got to stick to my roots, stick down to my picks all season. To finish out the year, ACC, probably no shot at the college football playoff, but to me, Wake Forest, they got a New Year's Six bowl game coming to them. Give me Wake. I like them in this one, and that is going to officially do it here for the Casual Sports Podcast. We will be coming back at you tomorrow with NFL predictions, Thursday Night Football, what happened there, and some other big games coming. All that and more. Make sure to come back tomorrow. I'm Alek, Koberna, Matt Morrison, and Mike Wolfgang over there. And with that, we bid you goodbye. Power Hour up next.
Pick it for Heisman.